It is so great to connect with you. Today, I wanted to discuss the upcoming end of year. The end of the year where you might be finding that things step up a notch. I know we're in November now. We've only got 2 months left until the end of the year. And it is a time of the year where time seems to speed up. I don't know about you, but at the end of the year, time always seems to speed up. So many preparations to do for the festive season, so many things to do for end of school, for the end of business for the year. And I always find that this is the time of the year that time just speeds up and you can really feel overwhelmed and burdened if you're not careful of what's going on. And the thing is that especially teachers, I've seen this a lot in teachers, that coming up to the last term, I see a lot in clients that they're starting to burn out. So it's not just teachers, but I'm just taking them as an example because around now I start to see them come on in and they're complaining of a lot, they're suffering from a lot of symptoms. And those symptoms are starting to indicate that burnout is on its way. And they're so looking forward to the school holidays just to be able to calm down, debrief, and reset themselves. So I don't know about you, but whether you're a teacher or not, it's not just in the teaching profession, it's in all of the professions that I find so many people come in to me and start from now on and start saying, I can't wait for the Christmas break. I can't wait until I have 2 weeks off at Christmas, or I just get 4 days off, or whatever it is at that Christmas, New Year time, that they're waiting, their body is waiting just to get them over that finish line. It's like that. The festive season is the finish line for them. And they've depleted so many of the reserves up until now, getting through the rest of the year, that it's just about seeing that finish line and going, can I get there? But the problem with that is so many people tend to burn out along the way. And when they get to Christmas or they get to that time off, they're so tired and run down that it takes them the 2 weeks to recover again just to start for the new year. I don't know, have you ever felt that way in the last few years? I know I have. Many times I've done it previously where just waiting for the festive season to have that downtime, to have that stop time. So maybe you're starting to feel tired and run down now. Maybe you're wired, but you're overwhelmed. Maybe you're feeling unrested. You're waking up from your sleep, feeling like you just haven't rested enough. Well, I wanted to point out that we need to be aware of these symptoms because it could be indicative that you might be on the way to adrenal burnout, adrenal insufficiency, or even some burnout from happening. So maybe you've even had some blood tests. You've gone and you've said, right, I'm so tired, I can't get through the day. And you've had blood testing done and your blood tests come up normal. There's nothing wrong. And you're going, but how can I be this tired, this run down, this depleted, this exhausted, and yet nothing be wrong in my blood? Well, it could be that there is adrenal insufficiency or starting to be the beginnings of the burnout that could be going on, and blood testing isn't picking it up because it's not deemed as a true disease. You see, the adrenal glands, they produce cortisol, they produce adrenaline, and they're the little glands that sit on top of the kidneys in the back area, and they keep you going in times of stress. So typically, traditionally, back in tribal times, the only time that you'd be stressed would be if you were getting chased by a tiger or there was something that you had to run away from. Whereas in modern day, we're constantly challenged with pressures, life pressures, family pressures, financial pressures, work, deadlines, getting the kids to school, after school activities. All of this keeps us going. And as women, we tend to keep going and pushing ourselves through each and every day, relying on the cortisol and the adrenaline to get us through. And sometimes our adrenals can get overwhelmed and burnt out. They can run out of nutrition and run out of the factors and the ingredients that they need to be able to keep producing the cortisol and the adrenaline. And so the end of the year, when we've had this busy year already, and the end of the year comes up and we need to dig that little bit deeper to keep going, the adrenals are already going, you know what, we've been keeping going for so long now, we're running out of factors and nutrients and the ability to keep producing cortisol and adrenaline on demand. And the body starts to react to this constant level of adrenaline and cortisol in the body, and so we get some symptoms because of that. So with the end of the year, there is those extra pressures of social aspects, end of business year, wind up, getting deadlines done, end of school activities, all of that that's coming up. And they're just extra pressures that add burden to the adrenal glands. And that can be exacerbated if there are any nutritional deficiencies or if you're already suffering from poor sleep. So this can be a perfect storm this time of the year for adrenal fatigue or burnout. And you see there is a link between adrenal burnout, adrenal insufficiency, and underactive thyroid and Hashimoto's. Even you might find that you're putting on weight around the middle or having some brain fog, waking up unrefreshed, even if you are having 8 or 9 hours sleep. And so this can be a bit of a perfect storm at this time of the year to create this adrenal burnout. But it's really important that looking at preventing the burnout, preventing yourself from going into the stages of burnout, and there are several stages for burnout, but it's all about being able to spare or conserve, rest and recuperate your adrenal glands. And then also looking at, by doing this, helping to prevent thyroid disease, or helping to prevent exacerbation of existing underactive thyroid or Hashimoto's thyroiditis, because all of it's linked. The adrenal glands and the thyroid are linked together. So it's very important that if you're looking at burnout, we do look at the thyroid as well. So how do you do this? I said there were 6 steps to it. So my 6 steps are to start by being aware. Be aware of yourself. Check in with yourself. If you were your own best friend, and you are, but if you saw your best friend struggling, would you ask them, hey, how are you coping? How's everything going? Are you dealing with the constant pressures of what's going on? What's happening with you? So why not ask the same questions of yourself? How am I coping? Am I being overly reactive to stress? Am I feeling burdened? Am I feeling overwhelmed? Am I feeling unrefreshed after sleep? Do I constantly have to push myself through each and every day? And by checking in and being aware rather than being robotic, you can then make some changes, and that the awareness is the first step and very much the key to be able to make any more changes from there. Secondly, making some specific time for active rest and relaxation and recharge time. Doesn't necessarily mean sit and do nothing, because I know that just drives many busy mums nuts, having to sit still when they go, there's a million tasks I could still be doing now. But it's about active relaxation and recharge. Is it going for a walk? Is it reading a book? Is it doing something that can help you to recharge? Because let's face it, you recharge your phone, right? Why wouldn't you help to recharge your body by giving it that active recharge and rest time? So making sure that it's scheduled in and not just left to chance, but actually scheduled in, that it is regular, preferably daily, and it can be anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes to an hour, depending on how much time you've got. It could be a 10-minute meditation. It could be a walk. It could be listening to some beautiful music while you have a cup of herbal tea watching the sunset. It depends what it is for you that you like to do that helps to recharge. One of my clients loves gardening, and she just gets out in the garden for 10 minutes. 10 to 15 minutes, and that helps her to recharge. Might look at other ways. Another step for you is to nourish your body with quality meals. And that means not eating on the run. There are so many busy mums that eat on the run. Eat as they're going to drop the kids off at school, or eat while they're cleaning up the kitchen, doing the laundry, those kinds of things. But sitting down, eating a nourishing meal. And with the nourishing meal, have it that the plate is full of colourful and varied salad, fruits and veggies, so that you know that you're getting a lot of the nutrition, because the colourful vegetables, the colourful salad, fruits and veggies helps to provide you with the nutrients. And then you can layer that with meat, chicken, fish if you eat it, and grains or pseudo grains if you eat those as well. So it's a matter of getting that variety and the nutrition in so that we can help to nourish all of the cells of the body. Planning, so step 4 is to plan the remaining few months of this year. So like I said, there's 2 months left. Start planning. If you haven't already planned out the rest of the last couple of months, so that you can be aware of what you need to do and not feeling overwhelmed, and be realistic with time. We tend to overestimate what we can do and underestimate the time that it can take. So being realistic that with tasks and how long they're going to take, and even allowing extra fudge factor time, because let's face it, there's always something that might come up or it might take us a little bit longer. So allowing that, scheduling in that extra time so that you're not feeling under the pump, overwhelmed. But in that, also setting boundaries for yourself, setting boundaries for your family and for work, and learning to say no. If you really feel like you cannot do an extra activity, learning to say no and being okay with that, so that you don't go into the overwhelm, you don't go into that stress response. And then step 5 is to check and address any nutritional deficiencies. Because we need specific nutrients to help run the energy of the cells. So the B group vitamins, for instance. But also we need specific nutrients for the adrenal glands, for optimal thyroid functioning. And when these glands don't get their nutrients that they need, they tend to become burdened and not able to respond the way they need to. And then we can go into disease conditions from that. So ensuring that your nutrition is correct, that it is optimal, not even correct, that it is optimal for you and where you're at. So getting a check into that. And pathology blood testing doesn't always show you the exact levels of where you should be. So looking a bit beyond just normal pathology levels and maybe looking into more of a holistic approach with that. And then step 6 is to make sleep a priority. So when you're looking at your sleep routine, your bedtime routine, are you giving yourself that time to wind down? Or are you racing around the house doing a million tasks and then falling into bed exhausted and yet wired and wondering why I can't switch off? Having that bedtime routine so that your body can wind down to get into sleep, just the same way as we do with kids, especially when they're infants. So it's very important to get that quality of sleep so that you can wake refreshed and ready to start the next day rather than having a Groundhog Day. So thank you for joining me today. I've so loved sharing this information with you. I hope you have a lovely lead up to the end of year festive season and that you get in control and become aware of how your body's running. I look forward to seeing you next time. I'm Teresa Todd, Conquering Health, naturopath and biochemist. Bye for now.